So it appears that AOC was the front of the Vanity Fair magazine. So she had this, big interview that you typically do with these magazines. They talked about all kinds of stuff about Trump, about her future aspirations, all of that kind of stuff. In which she did say that she doesn't plan on staying in the House forever, which is something we'll probably talk about in another video. But in this one, AOC talked about Trump's tax returns and basically called him a motherfucker. So she said, these are the same people saying that we can't have tuition-free public colleges because there's no money when these motherfuckers are only paying $750 a year in taxes. So it is not the first time AOC's cursed. I remember one time, I think it was in a Breakfast Club interview, where actually I think she was explaining that essentially the idea of these Democrats voting for these candidates who are not progressive was basically bullshit, and she used that frame bullshit, explicitly. So it does appear that this is not the first time that she's done this. Now, this is something Trump will curse from time to time as well, I believe. AOC responding to this saying, I try not to curse in public, but... And so I guess, it shows, her enthusiasm. But honestly, the most interesting thing that I've noticed from all this, and there was also a piece in there about Ted Yoho, Representative Ted Yoho, and the sort of back and forth that they had where he called her a fucking bitch, and she said, I'm not going to play so nice next time that you do that. If you actually look, okay, and I think Kamala Harris' sister, I think it is, them being, buddy. It's really interesting to see how there's so many corporate Democrats. Basically, everybody who hates Bernie Sanders, who's a corporate Democrat, is a fan of AOC, which is really interesting. But it really tells you that she's going to end up being the person who is the progressive, who can sort of seem to win over the corporate Democrats and, the feminists and the Hillary supporters and all this yada, yada, yada. It's very interesting. It also goes to show you sort of what kind of strategies she takes in certain arenas or certain areas. She's not afraid to say bullshit or call the president a motherfucker, because that really is what she's doing at the end of the day. I mean, that is not, as trivial as it might sound to you. It really isn't. I mean, she's literally calling the president a motherfucker, which is not something that is totally normal or is normal at all for a sitting House member of the Democratic Party to do. So that's definitely something. And obviously, the whole taxes reveal was a really bad moment for Trump, as you guys all saw. Really put him into a corner to sound like an idiot at his debate with Biden. But AOC seeming to really, and you can see this tweet has 300,000 favorites. I've noticed, probably because it's election time, but her social media has really blown up to levels even, higher than seen before. So she seems to be even rising even more and more in the Democratic Party and amongst people. So it's definitely pretty interesting to watch. But AOC seeming to go kind of savage mode on Trump here.